think I need another beer. Anyways, with that being said, today we're reviewing the 2022 Violent Night. Bear is here with us today, saving my bacon because majority of my other panel, well, it is that time of season where you say, "Hey, family, what do I have to do today to make you all happy?" It's not a bad thing. It is what it is. But Omanal will be here soon, so we're going to go start talking about the movie, which honestly is my favorite Christmas movie right now. It's I watched it 4 times last year when it first came out, and this will be the second time I watched it this year.
Cool.
What did you think of the movie?
It's fine.
I am always the odd man out when it comes to movies.
It was. I see what they were going for. I can understand why people would like it, but I expect a little more. You know what I mean? Like I was. It was okay. It was fine. It was no McTiernan film. It was no Die Hard. You know. Right. And that's the way it's been sold. Is like, it's the new Die Hard. No, it's not. It's so not the new Die Hard. But it was okay. It was a fine movie.
I was watching an interview with the guy who came up with the story, and he was like, if you mixed, it was more or less the idea if you mixed, was it Die Hard, Home Alone, and National Lampoon's Family Christmas together into a blender, this is what you get.
Yeah, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I think is what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Drunk bastard. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was fine. It was fine. I wasn't blown away. There were moments that I really liked. There were some good moments that were kind of fun. I liked the whole Nordic craziness. That was kind of cool too. That was fun. But overall, I don't know.
Not on your watch list next year?
No. This knocks nothing off my Christmas list.
Wow.
The little girl was really good. She was really, really good. She had a lot of camera presence, a lot of screen presence. She was really good. What's his name? The Santa, David
Harbour or something like that.
Yeah, something. I'm always hit or miss on him. You know what I mean? Like he's either really good or he's really not good. And in this one, he's good, and he does the best. He was a better bad Santa than Billy Bob Thornton was.
I'd give you that. See, I've only seen, I saw him in the movie I've seen him in the TV show Stranger Things.
I liked him in that.
I liked him in that. I liked him in his part that he played in the first Equilibrium.
He was in Equilibrium?
Yeah, he was a dirty cop.
Really?
No, not Equilibrium. I'm not thinking Equilibrium. I'm thinking had Dennis Quaid in, not Dennis Quaid. Man, I'm off today. Denzel Washington in it. Equalizer.
Yeah, the first Equalizer was okay. It was okay.
I think the third one's the best.
I think he was. I haven't watched this. I watched the second one. I was like, wow, more of the same garbage. I'm good. It's the same reason I don't watch more John Wick movies. Same reason I don't watch more Taken movies. It's just the same shit over and over again. I like the first one of all three of those franchises, though I think John Wick was weird. But I really liked him as a Red Guardian in Black Widow. I thought he was really good at that. He really brought something to the character. And it's the same type of energy he brings to this, which is when he's not talking out loud as an actor and giving his political opinion on stuff, I quite enjoy his work.
I'm not rolling your eyes at you for that statement. I'm just rolling my eyes at the concept of, yeah, he's on a long list of people I wish would just shut up.
Like, seriously, shut up. Like,
right.
I made Winona Ryder make bug eyes on a stage. That takes something to make that space case react, because she's on another planet these days.
I really liked him in Hellboy, which gets me in trouble with a few people.
Never saw his Hellboy. I didn't like. I shouldn't say. I felt the same way about the Hellboy movies that I felt about this movie. It's fine. It's okay.
That's fair. It's incredibly fair. I think it was more of the. I think it was more of the scenes in this movie than the entire movie that made it for me.
Well, that's the thing. It's moments that are fun. Yeah. But the overall narrative is very. I mean, you can see what's coming. You can literally call things before they happen, and he telegraphs a lot of stuff. And that, are we allowed to talk spoilers here?
Yeah, we could talk spoilers.
Like, I knew the minute, oh, my kill team's coming, I'm like, well, the kill team's in on it. That's how they got inside. You know, like it's obvious that this stuff's gonna happen. That's bad screenwriting. You know, it's just really bad screenwriting.
Yeah, because he's like, the main bad guy, Scrooge. God, I love like 80% of the movies he's in. Pest is on the top of my list.
His name.
Oh God, I should be a better person.
Well, so I'm the bad guest, I guess, that I don't have.
No, I normally have the wicked.
John Leguizamo.
John
John Leguizamo. Zamo, pardon me. John Leguizamo.
Right.
I thought Beverly D'Angelo was really good.
That was a weird surprise for me. It took me a hot minute the first time watching. I'm like, okay, who is she, and why does she look familiar? Because I haven't seen her in anything except for the Chevy Chase movies, and I kind of avoid those anymore. I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I thought she was really good. I thought John Leguizamo was fine, and I thought the little girl was good. David Harbour was good too, and that's it. And that's almost where it ends for me on the cast. Bjorn Gingerbread, he was okay. He was okay. The blonde psycho chick was whatever.
Candy Cane, yeah,
she was whatever. The rest of them, like you like, the one thing that's really fun about Die Hard is that you get to know a lot of the crew, right? And therefore when they get their comeuppance, you're like, yeah, you didn't get that here as much, right? So like Sugar Plum, what happened to her? What happened to the Vault chick? Where'd she go?
Right. No, they didn't give her ending. They didn't. I mean, they did the whole Home Alone scene with the psycho blonde, as you put it, Candy Cane, and the big Swede. The Krampus got his, which was, as a family.
Nice. That was nice.
Yeah. It took me right.
Alex Hassel, the son, this is the guy who was, what's his name in what the hell, Cowboy Bebop live action. He played what's his name in Cowboy Bebop? Damn it, I gotta look this up.
The live action one.
Vicious. Yeah, he played Vicious. And he was terrible in that movie, in that show. He was terrible in that thing. And he was it felt like he was in a different movie in this one. Everyone else was playing it straight and letting the sequences have the laughs, where he kept pulling faces all the time.
I thought he was when I first saw it, I thought he was just like another one of those weird, just British comics that make it in movies. That because you get that in a lot of the old BBC. You get that one comedian that wants to be an actor. But no, I didn't recognize this guy from anything other than Bebop.
I did recognize him from The Boys because he was translucent in the first season of The Boys.
I still haven't watched that.
Oh my God, you really need to watch The Boys. But overall, it was just it was mediocre as a movie. It felt choppy. It kept hitting these believe in Christmas notes over and like 3 times. We have to have a believe in Christmas moment that turns the tide, and then the tide gets turned against them, and then the believe in Christmas turns the tide back, and then believe in Christmas. You only need that once in the story. And that's when the tide turns and the audience is with you, and they ride it through to the end on that tsunami. And that's the way that's storytelling. This is very indicative of what we see a lot of in modern storytelling, is that they don't understand beats. They don't understand story structures. So they just kind of do whatever they want. And it gets a little chaotic sometimes. And then things like, characters go missing. I knew Max Steel, or whatever the hell his name was going to die. I'm like, okay, well, this guy's dead. He's going to get shot. So, that's how he's getting shot, to give us the reveal we knew was coming. Whatever. I did like We Owe You One. You brought me back from the dead. We'll call it even. I thought that was a pretty good line. I was like, all right, that was good. That was pretty good. I could have lived without the little quips, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah.
Like a plate of cookies.
That's 80s style writing. I mean, I can't think of 180.
So it's okay. So they're trying to rip off Shane Black. And I have nothing but absolute adoration for Shane Black. And literally this afternoon, before you asked me to do this today, I just finished watching for the first time Nice Guys. So I had Shane Black level dialogue in my head as I go into this one, going, "Oh my god, this is like a pale shadow of that." It's not as
Shane
good.
Black. I'm trying to. I know the name. I just can't. Think of
Long Kiss Goodnight, Lethal Weapon, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, Predator, The Predator, but he also did script doctoring on the movie Predator, and he's the guy who makes all the pussy jokes in Predator.
Oh,
He's an amazing writer.
Shane. Yeah, Shane. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking for some odd reason when you said that, I was thinking the British actor that was in John Wick as the guy who ran the Continental. I was thinking him.
Oh,
They
that's,
was in-
that's what's his name? Shit, he's in Deadwood. God damn, I'm tired. I can't think of anybody's names tonight. Oh my goodness.
So
That
yeah,
would be Ian McShane.
that's what it is.
Hi, Crafting. Since no one said hi to you yet, hi, Crafting. How are you?
He knows he's loved. Barely.
Two people watching us. Oh.
Yeah, don't expect high numbers.
No.
I
And you don't have a StreamYard, so I can't share the stream to my channel. So sad.
I'm lonely in this. I got X amount of followers. I'm not as popular as other people.
Oh, stop your nonsense.
Drinking soda, not beer, just to make it clear.
You little alcoholic fuck.
I'm not an alcoholic. It's just the holidays.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen you outside the holidays, Connell.
Yeah. Well, see, it was Veterans Day on Max's stream. I was trash.
Oh, there you go. I was gonna get trash for that. It was Friday another time. Got to get trash for Friday.
Friday, it's its own holiday.
Yeah.
But anyways,
first step to it is admitting you have the problem, man.
See, what I like about this movie, and you're not wrong with anything that you said, but what I really adore about this movie is it's the title thing. Everything you need to know is in the title. I have the same thing with, as I said, Jaws. Everything you need to know about is in the title. Great Big Shark, Cocaine Bear,
Alien versus Predator.
Right, everything you need to know. I don't need to go on some magical wonder ride wondering what's what. I can sit down, put on this movie, and hee ha ha. Do you see how hard he hit that guy with a hammer? And move on with my life.
Yeah, it's a bubblegum movie.
Right, and I'm cool with that. I don't want Christmas movies in me. I don't want Hallmark bullshit.
But you don't have to have Hallmark bullshit to make it a good movie.
But that's what Christmas movies normally are.
No, Jingle All the Way. Come on.
That's the Arnold movie?
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that movie. I don't know if it's on purpose or just alcoholism. No, I mean, I grew up one of the same movies that I imagine a lot of Bielsa's of between our ages. What was it? Not Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas. I grew up on that. Miracle on 34th Street. Wonderful. It's a Wonderful World, Wonderful Life. And those
Clarence.
Right. And I joke myself, if I see any of those movies ever again, I'm going to shoot myself in the face. Just because I don't want that. I want this. I choose violence for Christmas.
Then why aren't you watching Shane Black movies?
I now that you pointed out, I will have to start watching.
So here's your Christmas watch list, sir. You start the day with you start the day with Lethal Weapon. Okay.
Right.
Then you go, let's see, Last Boy Scout, because that was originally what he wanted the sequel to Lethal Weapon to be, and that's why he quit writing Lethal Weapon 2, because they wanted to make too many changes, and he wanted it to be what he did with Last Boy Scout. In fact, a lot of the scenes in Last Boy Scout are from Lethal Weapon 2 script.
Oh my God, that makes sense now.
Then you go Long Kiss Goodnight. Then you go Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Then you go The Nice Guys. Though Nice Guys isn't really at Christmas. Yeah, no, it is at Christmas. No, is it? Yeah, it's at Christmas. No, it's not. I just watched it today. It's not. So you can skip that one. Okay. And then you end your day off with Die Hard, and Christmas is over when Hans Gruber falls from Nakatomi Plaza. Christmas
is that over. Your Christmas list?
That's my Christmas list.
That's your Christmas list.
That's my Christmas movie list, and it's never failed me. It's never let me down, and makes me happy.
My Christmas list. Well, this is a recently new one. My Christmas list is Gremlins. Because of Omen Out, it will be put on my Christmas list for next year is Blackadder's Christmas Carol.
It's all right.
I like it. This one, I'm right there with you on Lethal Weapon and Die Hard. I'm right there. So there's 4, 5. And normally Christmas Eve, I'm horrible. I'm a weird guy, I guess. I like Christmas rom-coms. Not P.S. I Love You. I do watch that one. But what's the other one I'm thinking of? Love Actually.
Love Actually is a very good movie.
And I'll watch that, and I'm good. I at least have one rom-com in there. I always wanted a library. You know how people want library of books or whatever, books or music, and so far. I always wanted because of my reading issue. I always wanted a library of movies.
I had one.
And
I had a VHS collection, then I had a DVD collection. And I was like, I'm done collecting. I'll just do digital from now on.
I'm there with you too. So, I mean, I had date movies, I had horror movies, I had it all. Not all, but
horror movies.
Horror movies.
What the hell are like Pretty Woman? Like what horror movies were you watching?
Yeah, I'm thinking Pretty Woman. I'm thinking Pretty Woman, Fatal Attraction. Thinking, what was that movie? Doesn't really matter. But anyways, horror movies is monsters. Like the
horror movies.
Yeah, I can't talk. If you don't know this by now, I don't know what to tell you. I can't talk.
I'm literally just fucking with you. 100% messing with your bullshit, dude.
Krampus came out a couple years ago.
I didn't mind Krampus. Krampus was okay. It was okay. I didn't like there was aspects of it I didn't like, but there were a lot of aspects of it I really liked. I'd put it on the same level as this one. It's fine. I wouldn't turn it off if I walked in a room and it was on. I'd sit and watch for a few minutes. But overall, it didn't grab me.
I think one of the Alien movies can be considered a Christmas movie just because it was Christmas.
Predator, the one that Shane Black did, it's set at Christmas.
Is it real? Yeah. Okay.
In fact, I'm really shocked that The Nice Guys wasn't set at Christmas. I might be wrong on that.
That's all right, because you mentioned Last Boy Scout, and I'm like rerunning that movie through my head, and just adding in that Bruce Willis is John McCain. That movie makes whole lot more sense. So, some of the questions I normally ask people: did you have a favorite character in this?
I thought the little girl was absolutely fantastic.
She wasn't.
I would have loved to have seen this movie be. If I was gonna remake a movie or I was gonna cast her and do the same type of thing, I would have just had her doing her Home Alone bullshit, but at action film level.
Oh my god,
that would have been way funner for me.
Move over, Macaulay Culkin.
It would have been way more fun to just have her taking out fucking terrorists. That would have been hilarious to me, overall it was pretty good. I mean, it was okay, but yeah, she was the scene stealer for me in this movie.
She was cute and she wasn't annoying.
Key.
Yeah. Is there somebody who didn't you like? I mean, I'm sure that's a list.
Who didn't I like?
Yeah.
The father. I didn't care for the father. Hey, no, I didn't care for the father at all. I thought he was very weak and he felt out of place. The bad guys really were forgettable overall in this movie. They didn't stand out. There was no, there was no Alexander Goodenough in there. It was just okay. That's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for showing back up there, Haas.
Yeah, well, I had to go pick up my son. I think he appreciates that.
You could have walked home. We talked about walking.
Hey, when I was his age, I used to do that.
How old is he?
14.
Yeah, me too.
Hell, I used to do that when I was like 10. So, it's not like.
I keep telling my daughter there's a difference. There's a difference in this now than when I was a kid than when you are. I would have been what you consider an outside kid. You're what people would consider an inside kid. Now, your generation is nothing but inside kids. But anyways.
Well, he's a farm kid, but I'm not sure he could find his way home unless I left him a map. So there's a little difference because he doesn't live up here. He just comes and visits.
All right. So we kind of got into this. We already kind of got into this with Bear. Man, I cannot talk today. It's not because of alcohol, just because I didn't sleep, because I didn't have enough alcohol. No, that's horrible. So did you have a character in this movie you liked?
Well, I mean, I liked Saint Nick. I mean, that's who I liked. What is it, John Leguizamo? Whatever, however you pronounce his name. I mean, he plays about the same character every time, so it's like, oh, okay, so he was all right.
He doesn't have a lot of range as an actor, that's for sure.
I loved him in Pest. I honestly think that was his best movie. Next to the 90s Romeo and Juliet with the I don't know, the Romeo and Juliet movie from the 90s.
So there was that. Some of them I should have liked, but it just didn't come about. And some of it is, yeah, it's no, like we were talking about, Die Hard has much more fun with it if you're going to be those characters. But yeah, that was about it. Was Saint Nick.
The bad guys were just boring, and that's the problem. Yeah. There was no investment in the bad guys. There was no Hans Gruber. Leguizamo was no Hans Gruber. You know what I mean? It's just not.
No, you want to love to hate them. So you really enjoy that payoff when they die. I mean, that's part of the aspect. And I think that's one of the things I feel that's criminally underrated nowadays in writing, is giving a villain that is well worth the that kind of I love to hate them.
I liked Santa Claus. I liked Santa Claus. I'm there with Bear on the little girl Judy. I thought she was amazing.
She was really good.
I loved. I couldn't wait for the son-in-law who is an actor to die sooner. He was. If I had a bingo card, he would definitely been on, first death.
See, but the thing
is I felt bad that more of the family didn't get killed because they are such scumbags. The little girl was a good, decent human being, and the grandmother, the father, the sister. Oh boy, I would be okay if they all died. And then her mother was just kind of
This is the problem.
Yeah.
The family were caricatures. They weren't characters. Beverly D'Angelo was fine as the grandmother. She did a great job. But the daughter, the son-in-law, and the kid, they're that trio, and then the father of the little girl, they were just caricatures. And I didn't care when Jean-Claude Van asshole got killed. I was like, I don't care about this character. So I feel no satisfaction in seeing him getting killed. I feel no loss. I feel nothing in this moment. And you're revealing a twist I saw coming. So whoopee-doo, I don't know. And their redemption arc is weak. It's like a redemption.
Some money to keep Santa Claus alive.
Yeah, I mean, if they burned all 300 million, that would have been different. And said, or if they had to give him the money, you had to give the money away to Santa, something like that, that would have been fine. But yeah, I was hoping more. Every one of the naughty list. Only the little girl deserved to be on the nice list.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I was hoping that they would get their comeuppance as well, from Santa Claus. But. I had fun with it. I did, but like Bear said, it felt very Die Hard 2, where they decided to, when they had the extraction team decide to flip.
I liked the gate guy Al. I liked him.
Yeah, and then he died.
I was like, died, but that's good. Playing a character we like helps us hate the bad guys a bit more. But then when Santa found him, I would have liked more there. I would have liked to have seen him sit down and just maybe. Start telling a story about Al, I remember, Christmas 1938, all you wanted was, that type of thing. Like, give us or 68, whatever. I'm old. Just give us that moment where he tells us a little bit about who Al was. Because he's walking up to the gate going, Al. So he knows who Al is, right? So give us something from that. Pay that off a little bit. We'll have him in the booth, have a moment for Al. And then we would feel even more pathos for it, Sadly, other than Santa Claus, there's no heroes in this story. I would, as I said, you weren't here when I said it. I would have preferred a movie where it was just a little girl doing Home Alone meets Die Hard against the terrorists. That would have been fine for me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, the guy who played the Krampus, Brendan Fletcher. Yeah, I'm looking at that right as a Krampus. I thought for a villain. I mean, I know he was a B villain, but at least he was more. He wanted to be there. You know, he's like he.
Now, which one was he? I'm trying to remember.
He was the asshole that had the idea.
He was the one.
What?
Was he the one with the beard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. So he was more the gray beard. Okay, that's fine.
He was it? Hey, I have never heard my idea.
Yeah.
Let's open up presents because this very well could be your last Christmas. And is this really family therapy? I mean,
the elf could have been a lot more evil too. So you would have felt a lot more payoff when they killed him.
Yeah.
You know, that's what part
Which
of it is.
one was the elf?
That was the one where they beat him with the
that's Krampus.
The fireplace attack.
That's Krampus.
Yeah,
that's
oh,
what we're talking about.
No, I was talking about the one that was the gray beard that was like the number 2.
That's Gingerbread.
Okay.
His death was fine. It was like that little sequence. I would have liked a whole movie of that sequence. Thank you. That would have been fantastic. Something they did do that annoyed the shit out of me was they show us them killing staff, and then they get to the scene where they open up the kitchen staff and the guy and the girl and the kitchen staff, and they cut away. Why? Show them die. Make me hate these guys more by showing me their stuff. You know, if you're going to show me everything. Don't either cut away from everything or show me everything. Don't do this in between half dance. Like, that's not good. If you're going for like this brutal, bloody, action-packed, wacky Christmas movie, both feet in the pool, please. You know, like, let's go. You know, don't pull your punches.
That said, I did like the fact that they shot the actor guy.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that was satisfying. You know, when he kicks him and he jumps through the window and then runs for it. And like, oh, okay. No, that was, but that was a satisfactory payoff. I would have liked to see more of the family.
No,
because I knew he was going to die. I'm like, this asshole.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
at some point he's going to die, and then, like I said, he died in the twist I saw coming. So there was literally zero emotional. There was no for me. There was no. It was just So I was right. They are part of all this. And they killed the asshole I knew was going to die anyway because he's the only one that's not blood other than the wife, and she has to live long enough for the family to get back together at the end of the movie. So I guess she's going to be. She has plot armor for the whole film. You know, like it's like they telegraphed. There was no moment in time where I felt there was any jeopardy for any of the characters, even the little girl. There was no moment where I felt like, oh, this could go somewhere. This could be, it was by the numbers, man. By the numbers. Very pedestrian.
It was. I still enjoyed it, but it was.
Fine. It was a fine movie.
Yeah. But I that's why I was telling Connell, it's not one I'd probably watch again over and over. Like unlike Die Hard.
Like I said, I saw this movie 4 times in the theater and like twice this year. I love this movie just for what it is.
You don't have to explain yourself for that, man. That's the beauty of it. Film is subjective. What you love in a movie is what you love in a movie, and that's what makes it good.
And I said I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. But
dude, I literally just watched it, Omanal. He's like, "Can you be on tonight? Well, you're watching this. All right, let me download it and watch it." You know.
Okay.
So I literally finished it like 2 minutes before we went live.
Well, Connell appreciates you, taking away from your busy schedule of
I do. I mean, I get a message earlier today that 2 people are basically getting pulled away to do family stuff. I'm like, it's Christmas, of course. Yeah, this was going to happen. But going back to the movie, I think I enjoy it because there are certain people in this movie, their characters. I know people like that. Unfortunately, I know the grandma.
Mm-hmm.
I know the grandma. I know.
I got to put a cat on the naughty list. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going. As long as he doesn't come back, draped in red, we'll be okay.
It's cranberry sauce. Really, it's cranberry sauce. Just have a dark sense of humor, and that's really what this movie was. It's violent, dark sense of humor, and yeah, I ideally, I did have the normal Rockwell Christmases growing up, So it's like I have a few people in my family like, why do you like violent Christmas movies? Your childhood was fairly normal, Mike. Because my childhood was fairly normal. I don't know.
Well, so was mine. So to me, I want something different from it. That's what I want. Is I want it's because I know that's not going to happen in my life, or hopefully it would never happen in my life.
Well, I picked this movie one for two reasons. A, I really do love this, and B, I just want Shadow to watch it. I really wanted Shadow to watch it. Oh yeah, I love Shadow to death, but Christmas, if his Christmas, and I'm not saying this negatively, but if his Christmas is gathering up in a great big circle and singing Kumbaya, more power to him. That's not that's not what I enjoy.
Well, he's trying to present, to be fair on this, he's trying to present that for his son to get that perfect Christmas, and that's fine. But
that's fair.
In the meantime, you know what is grew up in the South, so this whole thing of having a white Christmas, I'm like, no, I want it warm enough that I can go outside in short sleeves and go run around and go play on the beach. There's a big difference between those things. And, my son spends his time with his mom and he loves Christmas. So it's like, she likes Christmas. So I'm like, you know what? Spend it with them. We spend New Year's together. So.
Have you ever not had a white Christmas there, Bear?
We're having one this year.
Are you?
It happens. Sometimes it happens. We have very mild Decembers, and it rains, and any snow we get gets washed away, and that's what we're having this year. It looks like they were predicting us 2 bouts of 20 centimeters before Christmas. Now it's all mild rain bullshit. We're getting something like 50 millimeters of rain tomorrow. It's going to be shit.
Wow.
No.
I'm sorry. You live up in Canada, and I'm in my head. When it hits this time of year, it's nothing but snow. But that's just how the world makes people think, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and a lot of it just depends on how close you are to the lake. Like if you're in Buffalo, I understand. What they get, like 8+ feet of snow a year or something.
Yeah, but they get lake effect snow, right? So
well, that's what I mean. But yeah, it's
we don't get that here. We just get snow.
I mean, Illinois, part of Illinois I live in, it's 50-50 if we get snow. When I lived up in Chicago, once again, lake weather, it's like, oh.
Well, see, I thought it was funny because the time I lived up in Chicago for 2 years, which was 13 to 15, so I got 2 winters there, and my God.
That was enough.
They were complaining more about it than I was, and I'm from the South, because it did melt, and what it did is it started becoming that ice. And so you could barely walk in a lot of places. And I said, man, this sucks. It snows cool, but this sucks when it melts and refreezes, and it suddenly starts becoming this moonscape when you're walking. I'm like, oh.
So for you Americans, tomorrow it's going to be 50 degrees in Montreal, and then we're going to dip down as low as 25 by Friday, and then Christmas Day we're supposed to hit a high of 37 for you guys.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So for Canadians,
forgive my ignorance, but I figured this time of year you're up to your asses in snow.
Oh God, no. Some years, yes, but not this year. Climate change is real. I don't know it, but it's real.
I don't disagree with that.
I'm gonna blame Owen Al. It's all Owen Al's fault for climate change. Too much hot air coming out of him.
Oh. I'm making sure we bring back the dinosaurs.
Making Jurassic Park Part 10.
Yes. Hey,
the last one wasn't that bad.
I want to see a Jurassic Park Christmas movie.
Hey, my grandmother was from Hawaii, so if that weather comes over here, I'm okay.
Oh, there's another Christmas movie for you. Has nothing to do with Christmas, the weather. Dennis Quaid, Day After Tomorrow, I think it's called.
Oh, I remember that.
That was a bad movie.
Oh yeah,
shot here in Montreal too, by the way.
Okay, so Bear, what? Just to go over this again, what are your normal Christmas movies that you watch, or movies around Christmas time that you watch?
You open up the day with Lethal Weapon, then you do Last Boy Scout, then you do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, then you do then you do Long Kiss Goodnight, then you do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then Die Hard to End Your Day. It's a Shane Black Christmas.
Yeah, I see that.
Except for Die Hard.
So what's your Christmas movies, Owen?
To be fair, I think we've gone through some, and I don't like watching too many. Sometimes I'll watch one of the old black and whites, whatever it is that I haven't seen before, whether it's the Miracle on 34th Street or something like that. Like I said, I only watch them once. And I mean, like, I hear everyone talk about them, so I'll watch them once. And I said, oh, okay. So I just throwing out some of the stuff out there. Then I usually like to watch either a Scrooged or something like that where we're doing this. And then the rest of the time, I just go watch something like Alien or stuff that I would rather go watch during the rest of the year anyway, but I have time to do it. Right now, it's, I don't know. For this time of the year, I'm thinking maybe I'll go see Godzilla -1.
I've heard that movie's pulled some serious numbers.
Well, here's what gets me about it is it's one of the highest rated movies out there when I'm hearing all the people I normally listen to, like the Critical Drinker and things. And they're like, oh, wow. Or was it a few of the other ones? Actually, it's really good. But I'm okay as long as I feel that I'm getting what the movie title says, I'm not being cheated. When it was Godzilla versus Kong, I'm like, oh, it's a fantastic film. I got Godzilla versus King Kong.
That's my Alien versus Predator 1 review. All my friends were disappointed. I'm like, why? Well, I just want what? It's called Alien versus Predator. It had aliens. It had predators. They fought. What was not delivered here?
I mean, like I can't say that they lied to me about the movie. Yeah,
I got what was on the tin.
Yeah, exactly.
If I buy a can of coffee, I expect coffee, not caramel flavored raspberry coffee. Like what the hell were you expecting? But it's because Alien. Everyone forgets Alien is schlock, every aspect of it. But then somewhere after Aliens, it became somehow like high art to people, and I'm like, it's not high art, guys. It's still schlock, 100% schlock, and that's what makes it fun.
I think my friends that did the Alien vs. Predator were so used to the Dark Horse comics.
That's the problem.
Before. Well, part of me goes, man, why don't you just mine those out? Because I would have.
Because you got to pay people money.
I know.
So here's whenever you see a movie and you go, well, why did you just use the source material? Because you got to pay royalties for that. Why do you want to do that when you can just pay a writer a flat fee and then take the movie from them?
That's kind of what I figured with a few of the Marvel movies, like Civil War. They kind of went close to the original source material.
Oh no, they've had to. They've been busted. Disney got busted a few years ago on that with like writers basically going, "Hey, that's my story bit you used. You owe me residuals." And
what's his
name? Created Wolverine. What the hell's his name? Can't remember his name. Anyway, he said he's made more money off of residuals from the Marvel films with Wolverine, the X-Men films, than he did from writing comics. Len Weinman? No, what the hell's his name?
You know what those?
I love the internet.
Yeah, I know, but I'm happy for writers to make money for stuff like this. And that's where I'm getting frustrated. It's like, look, if you do a good storyline, you get good music, you get decent actors. They don't even have to be well-known actors, but if you can get decent actors in there, I'm happy with that. And I don't know. It's this whole idea of like, well, if we just make crappy movies, well, all right, good luck.
There's always been. I mean, okay. I realize. I realize in most crowds when we talk about movies, I'm probably more forgiving than most people we hang out with, Bruce and whatnot. This movie, I forgive. It gave me everything I want for a Christmas movie, so of course I love it. But Bear, you've been on the other side of the camera a few times.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah. You're also so you've seen both sides of it, so you have a little bit more take on the movie than I do. So that's kind of the one reason why I wanted to do 13th Warrior, and the one of the reasons I asked you to do this movie, because I wanted your take from your experience. And now and me can just talk about Bright and make it interesting. Not really, but we have. Yeah, a couple videos back. So when it comes to a movie, let's say Goonies. I love the Goonies. I haven't heard anybody bitch about the Goonies forever, so I'm going to go with the Goonies. Storytelling was crap. The scenery was kind of cool. The end of the movie is, of course, they're going to get the treasure and save their houses, the town, whatever. And the ship is going to appear and make sure the grown-ups believe the kids. But
Yeah,
no one bitches about the Goonies. But now,
I can't stand the Goonies.
okay.
I thought that's what you're bringing up because I've openly stated I don't like the Goonies.
Oh, I don't remember.
I prefer Monster Squad. Monster Squad's my movie from that era for kids fighting evil.
Okay, Monster Squad.
I haven't seen Monster Squad, to be fair, so I can't.
I have not seen how does that happen.
Well, you know what? Maybe that can be my Christmas movie. It's not like I'm doing anything on that day, especially if it rains.
The werewolf caught nards. But it's the same formula. The formula for movies haven't changed.
Sure. But there's the formula. Okay, so formula is one thing. That's fine. Clever writing is another thing. Good directing is another thing. Good acting is another thing. And it boils down to, if you're going to do a formulaic film, you have to work extra hard. You don't get to just call it in. And the problem with a lot of these movies that follow formula is they just call it in. It's a paycheck. It's all it'll ever be is a paycheck. So they don't make an effort. They don't try hard. And I've worked on plenty of those in my day, man, as a day player. Like, show up, have 2 lines, go home type days. It's great. Great paycheck. But no one cares. No one's making an effort. We used to shoot a lot of these Hallmark style, what we called women in peril movies here in Montreal. Like a ton of them in the 90s where just women in, what are you working on this week, Bob? Women in peril film. Oh, cool. Like it's just and no one cared. No one gave a shit. And the problem with a lot of these movies is no one gives a shit. They're just shooting it to get it done, to make some money on the foreign market, to maybe distribute it and get a couple of bucks back for it. So as a result, hey, Hungar, if you're going to be doing a formulaic movie, you need to work harder to make it better so it stands out from the pack and doesn't just get lost in the mix.
This movie I was reading on, as much as I trust Wikipedia, they're supposedly a sequel to this movie is in the making.
Violent Night, really?
Yeah, which makes me happy, but
really, sequels annoy me.
They're good sequels and they're bad sequels. The only thing I really hate is when they start trying to shoot the sequel before they even have the story written out. Like, how can you do that from just a logical perspective? But okay.
So, which movies get a pass? Because that's James Bond movie, does it get a pass because all James Bond is the same? And I'm not trying to be a smartass here, but I'm just like out of curiosity for people. Where's the checklist? What movie is like, guaranteed, I'm going to sit down and enjoy it? The writing, the scenery, the cinematography, where's it at? Me, I don't mind. Bear, go for it.
What's the question?
What does it? What in the movie does it for you? The writing, the acting, the cinematography.
Okay. Have you seen Highlander?
Yeah.
What does it for you in Highlander? Is it the story? Is it the acting? Is it the camera work? Is it the action sequences? Is it the music? What is it that does it for you in Highlander? And the answer is the complete package.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Well, I'm going to bring up some of the old stuff, and I agree with Bear on that. I'm willing to give more forgiveness, especially for comedy. If it's the biggest thing is funny, it needs to be funny. It can't be slow. I can't feel like it's going down. And to me, part of comedy is being offensive and relatable and shocking. Those are things that come into it. So I'm okay in certain cases if it's bad, as long as it's hilariously bad. But whenever we're talking about, some of the stuff is, if it's, the old 1930s films, most of it's dialogue. I love the dialogue, especially when it's the real witty stuff. And maybe Bear can. I was hearing Mark Robert talk about stuff. Apparently, movies used to have an additional 20% of dialogue in the films. They just said it much faster than they do nowadays.
Well, so this is your a lot of it's your mid-Atlantic speech pattern. So mid-Atlantic speech pattern, you speak very quickly when you talk. You do that whole thing. My mother was at the store and I saw that. It was terrible. Like that's the way they speak, right? Secondly, you ever go watch those movies, cameras don't move a lot. Not a lot of jump cuts, not a lot of back and forth. It's very static coverage. So the characters have to carry it. They have to really bring it alive in those older films. The writing has to be there. And that's important. That's a very important thing. As we get further along in film, we get more stylish and stylish and stylish and stylish and stylish. And dialogue becomes wittier and sharper and nastier and more blunt. I long for the old days when, since rules said you couldn't say certain things, they had to say it cleverly as opposed to vulgarly the way they do now, right? And that's one of the things I'm not enjoying in modern film is the vulgarity of it. When the vulgarity was new, it was fresh, it was exciting, and then it became sort of a wink and it was cool. Now it's just par for the course. And the perfect example of that is how many F-bombs did we hear in Star Trek Picard and Discovery? It's like, come on. I don't want Star Trek to have F-bombs. Double dumbass on you was wow. Dumbass, come on. So that kind of stuff is where we run into the problem these days. Overall, film has to be a complete package. But if you have a bad director, a bad script, but good actors, that movie will sing. If you have a good director, a good script, and bad actors, that movie is doomed. The people in front of your camera have to be good. They have to be good enough to keep the audience's attention. They have to be good enough to make them care. A bad director can sometimes ruin that through bad cuts, bad coverage, bad choices. But if it's not an action film or something, and it's mostly a character-driven piece, good acting can carry it. I don't care how good your direction is. I don't care how good your lighting is. I don't care how good your special effects is. I don't care how good your sound effects are. I don't care how good your music track is. If your actors suck, the movie's doomed. Just doomed. So it's one of those things where we have to understand that the whole package is best when it comes together as a package. Aliens by Cameron, everything came together. Blade Runner, everything came together. Any Kubrick film, because he was such a control freak, he forced people to do it right or to do it the way the vision, so it comes together as a complete package. It's why Zack Snyder's Watchmen works much better than every other Zack Snyder film after Watchmen, because everything came together there. Script, acting, direction, everything came together beautifully. Later films, the scripts aren't there. And that's the biggest problem he has in those movies, is he has some great actors, he has some beautiful direction, if you like his slow cam stuff that he loves to do a lot, but the scripts just aren't there. And as a result, they suffer tremendously as a result from that.
Okay.
I think also part of it is some of the older actors also were coming from the theater.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they knew how to project, and they knew how to keep the audience, and they had to go quickly as well. So you don't get a second chance to do stuff. You don't have to do it 45 times. It's like, guess what? You do it, you get that right.
Acting for film is very different than acting for stage. They are two completely different disciplines. Acting for camera is subtlety. When I'm on stage, I need to project to the back row and make big movements so the person sitting up there can see me. But when the camera's tight on me, if I start moving around, the camera loses me.
Yeah.
So I have to learn to bring it all down, make it subtle, not make it too big. And that's a skill, just like acting on stage is a skill, but they are different skills. So while the theater actors may be able to give more verbose performances, if they don't understand working in front of a camera, they're going to just look comedic. And that's a sad thing when that happens. There's no magic to it. It's a job. And it's a skill like anything else. And when the skills come together the right way, you can create some really amazing stuff. When the skills aren't coming together, or they're absent, or they're compromised, you can create a lot of shit.
Is there, I've asked this question before, but not with this movie, but with other movies. If they took out 30 seconds, if they took out a scene or added a scene, some way to fix this movie, could this movie be fixed? Bear?
Well, it's not broken. That's the
Okay.
thing. It's not a broken film. It's just a pedestrian film. There's nothing special to it. There's nothing that like pops. There's nothing that makes you go, "Oh fuck!" You know, it's just, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool," and that's where it's lacking. It's the script isn't there.
Okay.
And there's clearly a lot of cuts. There's a lot of scenes that wound up on the cutting room floor, and I would love to see what those scenes were because I want to know what happened to the bank vault crew because they just vanished from the movie at one point. I'd like to know some of those things because there's stuff missing clearly from the screen that might give us better understanding of some things, or it might be it was cut for a reason. You know, it was garbage. Who knows? But I'd like to see it because the editing on this one did feel a bit choppy, a little like ham-fisted, and in a movie where so it's that red letter media thing, right?
Mhm.
You didn't notice, but your brain did, right? When a movie's done well, you won't notice those things. And Hitchcock used to refer to them as refrigerator thoughts. And refrigerator thoughts were when you're home after going to the theater and you're having a midnight snack and you go, but wait a minute. Hang on.
Oh,
No
yeah.
one was
Okay.
no one
okay.
was in the room when he said Rosebud. They came in after. So how did the newspapers know that he said Rosebud? Wait a minute. But those are refrigerator thoughts. And if the director's doing his job correctly and the editor edits the film properly, you won't think about that until you're out of the theater. Then you'll have those thoughts. What's bad is when you have those thoughts while watching the movie. Perfect example is The Relic. You got Linda Hunt, who's 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall. She's not a big lady. And they're going through a tunnel where the water's up to Tom Sizemore's chest. And my buddy leans over to me in the middle of the theater and goes, who's carrying Linda Hunt? Because it's just like, yeah, she'd be underwater for this whole scene. What the hell, That, if done properly, is a refrigerator thought. When not done properly, it's a glaring thing you notice right away. And you go, what the hell? And that breaks you. Anything that takes you out of the movie is a bad choice.
I think I have to rethink that after you said that because everything you just said makes more sense. See, this is why I wanted you on the show because
Okay.
you do a whole different angle to the movie, and I have these thoughts, and you say clever things like that, and I'm like, fuck, I have to tilt my thought really quick.
Well, I don't know how clever it is, but thank you.
I mean, that's part of the thing that I love about, the Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things in there, but you know what? I'm willing to let them pass by because I'm having too much fun while I'm in the movie.
Well, and that's the thing. Big Trouble in Little China doesn't take you out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps you in the movie the whole time. Buckaroo Banzai does the same thing. It's why it's my number one favorite film of all time, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, because you are in that movie the whole time. It doesn't yank you out of it. Some movies just pull you right out of the film, like in the middle of a scene. You just go, what the fuck? Wait a minute. Hang on. What? And
Speed did that for me as soon as they jumped the bus.
Speed is okay. Speed, the bus jump. The reason why is because there's no way that bus would have gone up. And we all know in our heads it would have gone straight down into the thing. So that makes no sense. Con Air has the same problem. When they fly the plane and the car attached to it goes through the tower, no way that would have happened. And we know it wouldn't have happened. So we just kind of go, huh? And it jars you out of the film, right? If you're going to do absurd things in your movie, watch The Rock. Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery. There is so much that goes on in that movie where you just go, no, that would never have happened. But it's happening, and you're watching it going, yeah, more. It doesn't jar you out of the film because it's part of the overall film. Jurassic Park, the overall film is so fantastic that you don't notice those little things. It's when they're trying to do a serious movie or a comedy movie, and then they completely destroy reality in a moment, and then try and go right back to reality. You can't do that.
Well, I think the other part is, when there's an incongruity, especially in character, you're like, that makes no sense for this character. That's.
Oh yeah, no. When the guy, and that's when the problem they had in here, guys with guns getting into fist fights with people. What?
You move back and you shoot. You don't get closer.
What? Why in the name of the first when the two security guards see the guy and then one guy gets close enough that he can be locked up by the terrorist, and then the other guy doesn't just start shooting.
Yeah,
he gets close enough to get into a fist fight with him again. It's like, no.
I mean,
Die Hard taught us how to have the gunfight turn into the fist fight, and that's what you need to do. So it comes down to craft. It comes down to some directors can direct action, some directors can't direct action. Zack Snyder cannot direct action. Okay, that's one of the problems. That's one of the big problems Zack Snyder has, is he's not good at directing action. So how does Zack Snyder cover off his action? Big sweeping slow-mo, big camera moments so that you're not paying attention to the action. You're watching the visual treat in front of your eyes. Jackie Chan. You ever watch Jackie Chan movies?
Oh, I love Jackie Chan, especially the Legend of the Drunken Master too.
What does he do with the camera during action
sequences? On him.
But no.
It's keeping on the entire action.
He goes in for moments, but anytime there's a big moment, he pulls out and gives you the whole frame so you can see this human being destroying their body on film for your entertainment. He makes the stunt guys feel like they've earned their moment by giving them their moment of seeing the what the fuck moment on screen, right?
Right.
Directors who can't direct action came up with the worst thing possible: shaky cam.
Oh, I hate that. God,
still happens, right? Here we are in 2023, coming up on 2024, and there are still films that have shaky cam. The minute an action sequence is all in close with no payoff moments of the big hit, that's a director who doesn't know how to direct action. It's a very specific skill. It's like directors who know how to shoot horror, it's tension, suspense. Directors who know how to shoot comedy, directors who know how to shoot human stories. It's different skills. And if you don't have those skills, and you go do something that's out of your wheelhouse, you better pick up the skill by going and studying all the masters of that type and learning from them, or run the risk of making a substandard piece of garbage that will never be a classic in that genre because you didn't know how to shoot that genre. Now, every so often, you'll get a Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is a horrible screenwriter. He is a terrible screenwriter, but he's a fantastic director. He can take other people's words and make them beautiful on screen. Hence, when we look at Alien, hence when we look at Blade Runner, we go, wow. When we look at Prometheus or Alien, what was the other one he did? Prometheus and...
Movement.
No, he's talking about, was it?
It was Prometheus and Requiem. Was it Requiem?
Yeah. Did he even direct that or not?
Yeah, he directed them, but he also wrote the scripts. And you can see that he doesn't know how to write scripts. So they're very beautiful films. But then they have moments where you just go, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this happening? This story makes no goddamn sense,
Well, for me also, I know everyone loved it, but I did not like Gladiator because I felt there was too much empty space in there. They could have cut half an hour and sped up a lot of it to give it better pacing as well.
That's fair. His brother, rest in peace, Tony Scott, had a similar problem. He was a very good visual director. Top Gun. I mean, come on, But then you get to a movie like The Fan, where the Americans are trying to explain to him, Tony, when it rains this hard, they call the baseball game on account of rain. And Tony's answer was, but it's atmosphere. It's like, no, but you're going to jar the fans in America out of the film because they know this doesn't. And what is the biggest complaint about that movie? People say the ending makes no sense because there's no way that game would have been played. And once you set up that moment, well, now we're fucked, right?
And like you said, it depends on where people fall into that. And the question is, okay, I'm going to lose some people at the edge, but you don't want to lose the majority of people. You're
always going to lose edge cases.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to focus on your core. And this is where Marvel's making big mistakes right now. Star Wars is making big mistakes right now. And Star Trek are making big mistakes right now. They are alienating their core in search of this modern audience they want. And as a result, their stuff is getting trashed. And it's not making money. And they're losing cash hand over fist. WotC is having the same problem right now. Again, they've abandoned their core. And when you abandon your core, you will fail because your core is what pays the bills.
And no, I agree with Bear. And, who are the ones that brought up the ticket sales? The people who went to go see the movie 17 times or 25 times in the theater, and will buy everything, not just when it came out as a kid, but now in their 30s and 40s. Like my son, I took him to see Rogue One because like, hey son, I would like to pass this on. And I was like, I
didn't like that movie.
But if Rogue One's to me, then it's going to be to him, and so and But if it had been a great film and I had loved it and he had loved it, we would go watch. Then we would
Again
be
and again and
fans.
again. Whereas
Exactly.
I saw Solo, and I didn't see it in the theater, sadly. I saw it on home video, and I was like, wow, I wish I had gone to see this in the theater because I really enjoyed this movie. Where it was like, it's the worst Star Wars film ever. I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually a really good, and reminded me of all the Han Solo at Star's End stuff and that kind of feel. It was like, this is different Star Wars, and that's what we're craving right now. We've had enough fucking Jedi for a while. But like Harry Potter, 90% of your Star Wars fans want to find out they're a secret Jedi. They want to find out they're a secret wizard. They want Gandalf to show up their door and take them on an adventure. You know what I mean? Because that's what the escape is for them. I watch movies differently. I don't project myself into films. I don't watch films to go, ooh, 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 it's me. Look at me. I'm having that adventure. I watch it as a story. So therefore, I have a very different connection to it. And there are enough of us that do have that connection and that feeling to films that we can actually go, yeah, okay, what worked, what didn't work. Dude, it's the way it is. The other problem we have right now is that Hollywood is not controlling the people who open their fucking mouths that work on projects to the media through things like Twitter and stuff like that. And as a result, they're doing damage to the brands. Case in point, what is the reason given why the Marvels failed at the box office? Number one reason, sexist men. 62% of ticket sales for the Marvels were male. Nope. Men didn't fail that movie.
I took my daughter to see that movie. The movie was...
It's a bad movie. That's the problem.
And here's the other part, though, is I remember watching the X-Men from the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm not a superhero fan. I'm not. But I can... objectively say is I thought they were good films. I can say, hey, if you love superhero films, go watch those, and you know, and guess what? For my friends that are, they're like, oh, if Ronald likes it, then it must be good because he doesn't really care for that. You know, it has that knock on effect.
X1 and X2 are amazing films. They're really good.
You have less problems with X2 than I did with X1, but I was looking from it from a comic book point of view. Why didn't Wolverine know who Sabretooth was? Why this? Why that? Because it's stupid shit that bothers.
This is where you have to teach people the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy lesson. Every version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, including the last film, had who involved in it?
I only watched the first movie.
The writer was Adams, Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams was involved in every version. The book, the radio play, the original series on BBC, and the movie. He was involved in the scripting on all of them. And he rewrote his story each time. Why? Because Adams understood each medium had to have a different storytelling technique. You can't tell the same story from the book in a radio play. You can't tell the same story from the radio play or the book on a TV series. You can't tell the same story from the book, the radio play, and the TV series in a movie. You have to make changes for the medium. So as a result, if you're a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the watch, listen, and read all of them. Because Douglas Adams signed off on them all and was involved in the creation of all of them. So he knows that material way better than any of us. And as a result, it makes more sense. And he shows that. When you're a comic book fan, it's really hard to watch a comic book movie with the fucking encyclopedic lore you have in your head and then go, well, why isn't that here? I remember when I was a kid watching Superman 2.
Okay.
And Zod, and then we're going to fight him. And I'm like, is he going to call in the Justice League? That's what my kid head's thinking. Shouldn't the Justice League show up now to help him take these guys down? No, I got a cellophane Superman symbol instead. And I was like, what? That's so stupid. You know what I mean? But it's a different medium. You can't just suddenly have a bunch of superheroes show up that have no explanation and no one knows who the hell they are because Ma and Pa Kettle don't read the comics. They remember Superman from when they were kids on the radio. So that's what they're going to see. They're going to see that thing they remember from their childhood, right?
Right. So
it's a very delicate balancing act in storytelling to do the thing you need to do. So what is my favorite part of Violent Night? My absolute 100% favorite part of Violent Night? His Viking origin story. I'm watching that going, this is fucking cool. I want more of this. How did he become Santa Claus? I want to know. Did he kill the guy who had the power? That's where I thought they were going to go. It was going to be like he killed the guy and took the power and became Santa Claus 1,100 years ago. And then at the end of this one, he's going to die. And the father who's the fuck up, is going to become the new Santa Claus now. I was like, this is cool. This will be neat. No, we're not doing that. We're just going to throw all this cool visual shit in. And just,
I don't think they
no
could
payoff.
though.
Yes, they could.
I mean,
Well,
Here's
they
what-
had a redemption arc for him. You know, how did you become? I agree with him. Even if it was just because, remember, how did you become the Saint Nicholas? You know, there should have done something there for people that aren't familiar with the myth. You know, that's the
no. I agree with that. I thought with him, you know, I jokingly say that, you know, Santa Claus is Odin all the damn time. So them throwing in the Viking part doesn't bother me. The problem is what I'm saying is having the dad become the new Saint Nick is this. We already have like 17 movies of that story.
Doesn't
Tim
matter.
Allen.
Doesn't matter. How many James Bond movies do we have? How many
Too many.
Revenge Get My Family Back movies do we have? How many Woman in Peril Rises to the Occasion movies do we have? How many evil overlords must be overthrown by the perky underdogs who turns out to be the son of the great hero do we have? It's not bad to have tropes. Tropes are the community guide. They are the tribal connection we have to these stories where we sat around the fire and the old wise man told us the tale of the great hero who went up into the mountains and brought the river down that now gives us life. But sometimes the goblins cause the river to overflow, or sometimes they dam it up and then we don't have the river. That's good when it's done well.
I'm going to bring up something that Bear just brought up because I felt very cheap when I watched No Country for Old Men. And they're building up for the climax between the two, you know, the protagonist and the antagonist.
Yeah.
And then he just gets shot. I went, okay, I just feel cheated for the entire movie for that part.
Yeah.
You know, I would have liked to have seen the gunfight there or something. Instead, you know, and that's what it comes down to is everyone wants to subvert expectations, but sometimes those expectations, when they're being built up, you feel like it's a complete letdown and you go, I'm out. Not that it was, and that's where I feel about it. It's like, oh, if you just cut out the last part of the movie where I would have felt, I need it, but the way that you just killed that whole thread just made me feel. And to be fair, Game of Thrones did that for, was it season 6 or whatever?
The last season of Game of Thrones.
No. Season 6, they killed all of the subplots, and I'm like, that's just like at the end where they blew everything up. I'm like, okay, you know what? And then the rest of the season were, of course, crap. So I'm not saying that the season 6 was that great either, but you know, we were watching it for all those interactions and stuff, and you can't just end it because you get bored. It's like Heinlein writing a book. Whenever Robert Heinlein writes a book, you can tell he just gets bored and just stops writing and says, and this occurs.
I'm sharing a picture with you, Connell, that explains everything Omanal was just talking about. If you want to share it with everybody and present it to the thing.
Yep. The horse.
The Game of Thrones horse.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that a few dozen times.
It's insanely accurate.
It is. It surely is.
You know? But that's the thing, right? You've got, as I was saying earlier, if you're going to do something genre or tropey or traditional or even pedestrian, you have to lean into it harder and you have to make it more exciting and more interesting and more. So that way it stands out from the pack. You can't just make a chocolate bar and throw it into the market. You got to do something with that chocolate bar. You got to, you know, add a zigzag of caramel or a layer of cookie crisp and caramel on top, or a bunch of, you got to do something to make it stand out from the herd. Or you have to use like the finest Belgian chocolate possible for your chocolate bar or something, right? You got to do something special. Food people get this. You know, restaurants are always trying, especially fast food. They're always trying to introduce some new thing. Hence, we got the chicken sandwich wars a couple of years ago. Everyone was arguing who made the best chicken sandwich out of everybody. And everybody got in on it. McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes. Everybody was in the chicken sandwich war. That's what you need in film. You need the holiday film war. You need the horror film war. You need the sci-fi war. You need all the stuff that we used to have a lot more of, and the small studios made the garbage, and sometimes they made the breakthrough gems. Now the main studios make the garbage. We are at the same place currently in the film industry where Hollywood was in the late 60s, when no one was going to see their musicals anymore. No one cared about their westerns anymore, but they just kept making this shit over and over, and it took Easy Rider to change their mentality. It took Jaws to change their thought process, to go, oh, wait, there's something else we can do. And audiences responded to those because they were so desperate for something different, something new. Why? Because the trope shit was just trope shit. They weren't trying. It was just machinery. It was just processing. And this is something you learn in the film industry, and this is why CGI took off so big. Producers think of films like an assembly line. I put money in here, movie comes out there, and inside the process, this is stunt, this is script, this is this, chunk, 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 movie, now I make profit. Because they don't have artistic souls. They don't know shit about art, okay? Producers are all they give a fuck about is money. And I can tell you that from experience on set while shooting, hearing conversations that are happening where it's all about how much money it's costing them to shoot, right? Mm-hmm. CGI allows them to get what they want. I throw money, product comes out exactly as I want it. Okay, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. As someone was saying last night on Shadow Stream, necessity breeds creativity. Restriction breeds creativity. And then you got to get creative and you got to find other ways to do stuff because you can't do it. And Jaws is always the best example of that. Spielberg wanted to show us the shark in the first act. Damn thing sunk and short-circuited, and it wasn't going to be fixed for a week or a month or whatever, so he had to keep shooting, so he had to get creative, and he made one of the most suspenseful films possible as a result of that, because he couldn't show us the fucking shark.
I'm gonna no, I mean that's exactly it. Well, just like we were talking earlier about the 1930s with the scripts. Boy, some of the stuff I listened to, I'm like, holy hell, how did that get past the censors?
Yeah, the Hays Code. Yeah.
But it got past it because they alluded to it rather than directly. I mean, what did we watch? We watched Citizen Kane. Mm-hmm. We knew what was occurring, even if they didn't directly say it flat out. So it kind of, like the sleeping around, beating his wife. I mean, it's there, but it's not in your face kind of there. Let your imagination run with it.
So I see Justin in the chat. I thought he couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah, Justin, you can hop in. You know where the link is.
Just saying.
Yeah, I know.
And yes, Coffee Crisp is amazing. Americans don't get it. Trust me. I had a friend in Colombia, and I sent her about 3-4 years ago. I sent her a Christmas box, and it was just all Canadian snacks. And she first we got all dressed chips. Everyone we send all dressed chips to are like, what are these fucking magic chips you have in Canada? They're so good. And Coffee Crisp. She had Coffee Crisp for the first time. She's like, I don't like coffee, but this is amazing. And it's like, yeah, it is.
I know what crisp are. I've never had coffee. No.
Coffee Crisp is a type of candy bar that is wafers with this
filling
in the middle, and
it's
covered in chocolate, and it's fucking amazing, and it has the highest fat content of any candy bar sold in Canada.
Does it?
I think
it's smaller though.
I can't remember if I've had it or not.
It's amazing.
It's in a yellow wrapper with red writing. If you remember that,
there was even a commercial they used to have on TV for it, which was, "How do you like your coffee? Crisp." It's a great joke.
Yeah. Well, those are part of it is, I want to have fun. It depends on the movie I want to go to. I don't always want to go see super serious films. No. Sometimes I want to see the completely ridiculous. But that's the other part. You have to go with the mentality. I know that Shadow hated Big Trouble in Little China. He says, well, no one told me what the film was about. I'm like, didn't you read the little just clip or anything?
Did you not see the poster?
But wait, do I have to be told what the film is about before I see it? Can't I just discover a film?
That's what I do, but I don't try going in with preconceptions a lot of times. Now, if I go in and I expect a war film and I don't get a war film, okay, then I'm pissed off. It's like
Pearl Harbor?
I don't know. I haven't seen Pearl Harbor. I could never get Pearl Harbor.
That's a shot across the bow.
You know what? I don't disagree with you there because I don't want to have to go through the hour and a half of that to actually get to the cool war scenes. I've never seen Titanic as well.
Titanic, it delivers what it promises, though.
It's awful. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's a caricature. I mean, Billy Zane is almost right down to like mustache.
Hey! Don't badmouth the Zane.
I won't badmouth the Zane on that one, sir. He's done some amazing stuff.
I haven't seen anything he's in.
What?
I haven't seen anything that he's in since he lost his hair.
So you
Demon
haven't
Knight.
seen anything he's been in?
I ain't being nice. I can quite. The last thing I saw him in was a Charm episode. I saw.
That was a wig, sir.
What was it? What movie did he did? The Phantom. I remember watching him in The Phantom.
I think that was also a wig.
I think. What was that? The Crypt Keeper movie.
Yeah, the Demon Knight. He's bald
Yeah,
as fuck.
Demon Knight. I saw him in that.
Yeah.
Then he just like disappeared. I haven't seen him in shit. I haven't seen him
He's
in
in Zoolander.
I see he has Ben Stiller in it. I can't do Ben.
Ah, you poor savage.
Ben Stiller, Willem Ferrell. There's a few actors I just like. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what though is some of the things I do enjoy, even if I don't like everything that they do. I still love Talladega Nights because it's completely ridiculous.
So that movie, I when I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, I love Nashville, by the way. I was going to a plasma center because you need money, and that's a quick way to make money. And they had 3 movies, and that was one of them. The other one was Alien versus Predator, and the sequel to Alien versus Predator. And I'm like, can we just watch aliens kill each other? Can we not have to watch this? Because there was a time where I could probably quote that movie. And
Which
I'm
one?
like, Talladega Nights.
Oh, okay, yeah, I still love Talladega Nights.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, I love especially when they do the outtakes at the end where he's talking about, I can't remember the guy's name, but the big black guy that was talking about how he likes to wear dresses.
Michael Duncan.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're like, oh, okay. But I like the ridiculous in those cases. It's the same reason like when we were watching Blackadder. I was like, all right, I love that for the Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. I think if given a chance, if I was making the chance to remake "It's a Wonderful Life," the movie would be an hour and 15 minutes shorter.
It does drag on in some parts.
Yeah, well, the other thing that
but
comes
it's the pacing of the era.
Murray, can't you hear me, Murray?
I also try to avoid my nostalgia aspect because a lot of people love things because it reminds them of a time of their life. Whereas a lot of times I didn't see it during those times of my life. So I don't have, like, oh, it was just funny when I watched it. Or it wasn't funny. And they're like,
it's the same thing where I say about not relating to films by putting myself in them. Everyone's like, did you see Pan's Labyrinth? Yes. What did you think of it? Was amazing, wasn't it? No. Why not? I was never a 15-year-old girl who wished she was a princess. Therefore, I don't connect to the main character. I did connect to the weird Spanish general. I kind of connected to his fed up with all the bullshit feelings. I really got those, but she annoyed the fuck out of me. It's the same problem I have with Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth. She's stupid. She does stupid shit. And I'm like, why are you doing stupid shit? Oh yeah, because you're a 15-year-old girl who wants to be a princess. I get it.
Well, see, I love Pan's Labyrinth for some of the visuals. When they have the monsters.
The visuals are fantastic.
Those monsters.
Story just left me like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, and then the same thing when they decided to do Hellboy, I guess number 2. I liked some of the ideas, but the film just fell flat for me.
Sorry about that.
Gamos. I cannot pronounce his name, but the guy.
Guillermo.
Yeah, I love like 99% of the stuff I've seen him do.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I love when you Americans do this, and Justin, you're not allowed to correct them. Can you please tell me the name of the director of the Dune movies? The new one.
I don't even know his name. So.
I can't remember his first name, but
wait.
No,
wait. Which ones? Because here's the point: the new one or the old one?
I said the new ones. Fucking listen, you drunk fuck.
The new one. I have no.
Hey, that's his culture. That's true.
It's my family culture, so
So
I love listening to Americans try to say it. I just saw the new Dennis Villanova film, and I'm like, what? It's Denis Villeneuve. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's so funny watching Americans try and pronounce French. It's hilarious.
Oh, I don't try to do French whatsoever. It's beyond me. I mean, I try to
people try and pronounce Welsh.
Yeah, fuck that noise.
No, I mean, saying it. I don't care. No.
I love the guy who did the Gambit character off the 1990s X-Men cartoon.
Oh man, I love the Gambit film. Gambit to me was the coolest of all the X-Men. Why aren't you doing one with him?
Because Magic Mike wants to be Gambit, and no one will sign off on it.
Who cares what he wants?
God,
Why aren't they trying to make a film with anyone?
no.
I thought Gambit was the cool one. I liked the fact of his attitude and everything else. Go ahead, sorry, Barry.
No. I'm just listening. This is hilarious to me. I can't stand Gambit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gambit is the villain. He only became the hero in the 90s.
He's a good side character. I don't like him as a primary.
Was it you, Bear, I was talking about when it comes to the comic book? Rogue. Rogue before the animated series was, she looked like she goes to a Sex Pistol concert. She was just...
Yeah.
After talking to you, I had to go back and look it into. I'm like, oh, yeah,
she was tough and badass. And then they pop her out of the Siege Perilous storyline where she's reborn as a cutesy sex symbol. And I'm just like... Ugh.
I liked the Stack Bombshell.
No.
But the like you said, 15-year-old, like the version that I see most recently, she looks like a freaking teenager,
Well, she was a teenager. That's the other thing.
Well, here's the other part, though.
Yeah, am I
when
thinking
did the
of the
X-Men
right
come out,
character?
Barry? It was in the 1960s at some, which...
Oh, I'm
What?
thinking of Rogue.
When did the X-Men come out? That was the
60s.
1960s. Yeah, but
They were when
the time-
Stan Lee ran out of ideas because he had originally said he would never say that there were characters who were just born with powers. And then he got to the X-Men, he was literally out of ideas. And he went, okay, they were just born with their powers.
I love the side story goes, though. It was his answer. It wasn't his answer, but it was his take on the civil rights movement.
But I mean, but you have, by the time that I even saw them, they had been out for 25 plus years in comic book. So
That's heavily injected into the story.
I mean, you've got a ton of material to use. Well, it's just like for Batman, you've got 80, 90 years of material to use. So, it's like, why don't you pull some of those ideas? And like Bear said, they're getting residuals.
They got to pay people's estates if they're dead. They got to do whatever. So guys like Bill Mantlo, okay, who wrote a lot of Alpha Flight and is actually a journeyman writer for Marvel, a lot of his ideas don't get used in films because they have to pay him. But the problem is the guy's practically brain dead, living in a palliative care home, and his family needs money. Why not pay him? Be the good guys for once, you fucking corporate cunts. But here's something, you said they're all 15. So something you hear a lot, and people think they're so fucking clever when they do it. They go, oh, look at all these 30-year-olds being teenagers. Oh my God, all these high school kids look like they're in their 20s. There's a really fun video on YouTube where it's a video yearbook from some American high school in like 1987 or something like that. Okay? And if you look at the fucking comments in that video, there's all these people going, why did 80s teenagers look so old? They're all freaked out at how old we looked in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
When you're a fucking latchkey kid, that's kind of what it does to you, you kind of grow up fast.
I don't, I look at, I just have to laugh at the whole thing. But no, the problem is when I start seeing crow's feet next to the eyes, like, aren't you, and then they keep them. This is the great thing about cartoons. That's why I love cartoons. Your characters don't have to age if they don't need to. Like South Park, they've aged a total of 2 years in the last 30.
I wish the Simpsons had aged their fucking characters.
I mean, they've had episodes where they're all grown up.
Make them 1 year older for every decade the show's been on. That's all I'm asking.
The episodes are in the future where Maggie is now grown up and she's about ready to say something and somebody cuts her off.
Yeah, that episode is like 20 years old.
Oh, well, have you seen what they're talking about with bringing King of the Hill back? Is they are going to age him, 15 years or so?
Bobby owns a restaurant.
Isn't half the fucking voice cast for that dead?
I know that
Brittany Murphy's dead. The guy who did Boomhauer, I think, or no, not Dale. The guy who did Dale is dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe another one might be passed on by now. Stop bringing shit back. Hey, Hollywood, if you're for any possible reason ever watching this video, stop bringing shit back. Make new shit we can enjoy, please.
Well, and that's the other part, too, is we're going to reboot this because we have to. Otherwise, we have to pay residuals for the last guy. Like, all right. I don't know. I
finally got to the reboot. I finally got to watch the reboot. And it's been up for a few years now, but Twin Peaks.
It's a continuation.
continuation. And I'm watching this. And I remember watching the original years ago. Mike, is the original, was it that freaking weird?
Yes.
Or am I?
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
It was pretty
Yeah.
fucking weird.
In fact, that was its calling card way back when, as they said, "Look at how weird this is."
I still haven't seen it.
I watched pieces of it, but it was, But I'll tell you this much: is I enjoyed Carnival, that HBO series.
That was a weird one too.
Yeah.
You know the only thing I remember strongly from Twin Peaks back in the 90s and stuck with me to this day, the owls are not what they seem. That stuck with me. It's never left me. It's like, God damn, that's a creepy thing to have someone tell you, That's
What
good
were they?
horror.
Oh no, the line that stuck with me all these years was, "That's some damn good coffee."
Oh yeah, well that's just funny.
Well, I remember
What do
watching
you
the
call,
Twin
what do you
Peaks
call these
movie, but
magnificent
about
trees you have out here? Douglas firs. Douglas firs. Yeah. Twin Peaks show.
what was it? The 20? I guess it was the Twin Peaks movies from the
Fire Walk with Me.
2000 or whatever it was, from 2000 or something
Yeah,
like
Fire
that.
Walk with Me. Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Good movie.
Okay.
It was supposed to wrap up the death story or something like that. I don't know.
No, it's a prequel. It actually takes place before the show. It's one of the
Oh.
good prequels. If you want to do a prequel, let David Lynch do the prequel.
So
'Cause he'll go into weird fucking territory. You know what I mean?
Don't-
should I watch it first? Because
No,
I have
no,
season 1.
No. Watch Twin Peaks, complete the first season, like the first 3 seasons or however long it was. Then watch Fire Walk with Me. Then watch the new one, because he
Okay.
made them in that order, and you want to see them in the order he makes them, because he reveals things that you need to know. But if you didn't watch the other thing, you won't get the reference when he makes it, so you'll be completely lost.
Oh, side
Okay,
note.
good. Because sometimes you want to watch things or absorb things in
Yeah.
continuity.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you want to have watched the prequels before you saw the 3 Star Wars movies?
No.
I was actually defending the guy who played Anakin in that movie not that long ago. I'm like,
The problem was that George Lucas couldn't write a damn script. That was the biggest problem.
No, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
It's like, he's an all right actor. Just most of the movies he's been in had some really shitty writing.
Did you see have you ever seen the original, or at least how they're going through it? What Star Wars would have been if they hadn't done the editing, with George Lucas's wife?
I'm
it
sure
would have
it's
been,
so.
it would have been horrible. She did a great job for making sure how she edited it out. But I mean, it was like all over the place. Stuff was going in the space, and then on the ground, and space. Yeah, it was terrible. And she did. There's a reason she won an Academy Award for that.
I'm just glad that no one as of yet picked Star Wars Christmas special, because I never want to watch it again.
Not Jesus H. Motherfucking Christ.
It's Thanksgiving.
Not
special.
a Christmas special. It's a Thanksgiving special, and it's called the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Whatever. I
Really
saw it once as a
fucking
kid. I
Christ.
never want to watch it again.
Hey!
Don't make me
wait,
quote Animal House as you again twice in a month.
What was the first quote?
Same one I was going to use now. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Ah, yes. You should put that on a T-shirt.
Have a
I'm
picture
gonna-
of Connell. Only if you got a picture of Connell going,
Only if he giggles and laughs. You have to have that when you press the
no.
button.
the,
And it
the
giggles and
evil
laughs.
leprechaun laugh is the best.
I don't think you can get a.
We need to
print
make a
on
Connell
demand shirt
plushie at this
that will-
point in time, right? When you shake it, it goes,
Oh.
oh, yeah. That'll
He's like-
scare some fucking children.
I'm not sure. Little side note, because we're talking about things. I just noticed that Dune has been pushed back until November of next
What?
year. Part 2.
Dune.
Of Dune?
Yeah,
Yeah.
part 2 of
Yeah,
Dune.
probably. Who knows, man?
No, I just saw it.
I
Because
just saw the trailer and I'm bored already. So
That sounds right, though, for Dune.
it's a slow movie. Well, it's a. Yeah,
I hate the art style.
I'm waiting to see it. I think it'll be interesting, if nothing else. I told my mother she's not allowed to die until that part comes out, because my mother was the biggest Dune fan when I was growing
Yeah.
up.
I think for the most part, David Lynch got the visuals perfect. Like he defined what Dune should look like for me, and Denis
Yeah.
Villeneuve stuff is nice, but some of it just looks like Numenera. You know, it's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
all about,
it's
man?
cold and industrial. Like the whole thing looks like the way Gaiety Prime should look.
I really liked the
The miniseries from
the
Sci-Fi.
Sardaukar. No, the miniseries was good for story, but horrible for visuals.
Wow,
I really
budget.
like the Sardaukar throat singing in the new movies.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I-
yeah.
I mean, I like the battle scene when they were destroying all the stuff on the ground. I thought that was cool. It's one of those things that it's more true to the book. It's not exact, but David Lynch is just fun. And especially if you watch the extended version, it's so much more fun.
I just wish he would.
I like the Children of Dune miniseries. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
With what's his
Oh,
name?
sci-fi, yeah. No, me and
Now he's Professor X. What the hell's his name? James McAvoy.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I wish they had kept more of the original cast. They had cast replacements for them.
no,
Yeah,
me
well,
and-
I wish they had just replaced Gurney because that was the weakest link of both those miniseries. Was the guy who played Gurney? He was not good.
Mhm.
was it me and Shadow reviewed the 1980s Dune. I think that's like one of the first two movies we reviewed on this channel, and it was a bit much for me to get through. Honestly, I mean, it was just a bit much. I drank a lot. I was thinking about doing a rating system for movies that, especially when Jack picks that movie, how many years it takes you to get through a particular movie. It wasn't a bad movie. I'm not saying it's bad, but there was definitely parts in that movie where I'm like, oh crap, where did I put my beer?
So Connell, which version did you watch? Did you watch the theatrical or did you watch the one with
Fuck
the
if I know. I have no idea.
How long was it?
Yeah,
What?
that's how you can tell.
How long was it? 2 hours or 6?
It
Or
was
4?
It felt like it was about 4 hours, but I was also drinking.
It was time dilated.
No,
Not
because
time dilation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
booze dilation.
Well, it's still time dilation. It's just like whenever you watch Metalocalypse, they travel time by putting the plastic bag over their head.
Oh,
I
but
think about putting a bag over my head when I had to watch that movie. Holy crap!
here's the thing: did they give you like 20 or 30 minutes of exposition at the beginning of it or not?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Oh,
did.
okay. Well,
with
that's the good.
cutscenes and like drawings and stuff.
No, there was no cut.
Was it just the blonde chick talking to the camera at the start?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
theatrical cut. So that's the best
Yeah.
version to watch.
I
No,
just
I like
That's
the long
the
one.
fastest version. That's one that moves.
Yeah, but I like the long version.
I have that one on
I love
DVD.
all the additional stuff.
I don't like the long version. I've watched the 4 hour and I watched the big one, and I think it's like 6 hours long or something. I'm like, I'm
Did they
good.
even have that much on it?
It was
don't know.
floating around the internet at one point. There was like a 6 hour cut or something of it, and I was like,
Shadow was
okay.
going on.
I'm gonna have to look for
what's
that.
going on with how badass Duncan Idaho was. And I'm watching the movie. I'm like, oh, I don't get it. Then I watched the new version with with Jason Momoa and playing Idaho. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Well, see, the
I never
thing
liked the
with that
character.
is what's his name? Was it the Laurentis or whatever?
Dino De Laurentiis.
Yeah, he wanted it cut to a certain amount of time. Like you can't do that with a 600-page book,
Mm.
and you had to speed everything up. Yeah, that said is, I enjoy both. I enjoyed the newer version for being more true to the old version.
Well, were you-
What was the other one that was going to be made?
The Jadakowski or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Jodorowsky's Dune. That is a
Yeah.
fantastic fucking mini documentary, though.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was floating
Yeah.
around on the web for a
Well,
while.
earlier you were talking about the refrigerator scenes, and the refrigerator would make you stop and think about late at night having a snack.
Yeah.
Parts of the movie that just takes you out of the movie. It was when they were about ready to jump from one place to the other one using the traveler thing in the David Lynch's Doom, and it looked like a great big goat's ass with things going through it. That right there killed the movie for me. Like, I can't take this serious.
Well, to be
Oh.
fair though is, that's why I said my mother's not allowed to die until they finish the movie.
By the way, Justin, if you don't like Duncan Idaho, don't read any of the books after Children of Dune.
No, I've read them all, even the
Duncan
prequels.
kind
I
of
just-
becomes a really important character. Despite
I
his
know.
dying.
I'm glad that they
He's like
kind
this immortal clone guy that they keep bringing back.
Gola.
Like a
Gola. The term is Gola, sir.
Gola. Yeah.
Then Paris is
Whatever.
the main guy's kid become, after living for like 1,000 years, decides, well, I'm just gonna become a worm. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Leto the second, he starts putting sand trout on himself and becomes a worm. Yeah.
I'm like,
Hey, gentlemen, I don't know how long you normally go for, but I gotta bounce out.
Go for it, man.
I
You go.
do some
thank
stuff.
you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
thank you for even showing up. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for
Sometime
taking
next year, I still want to do the 13th Warrior.
Yeah,
review
we'll do it in the
with
new
you.
year for sure. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking film snob. But if you want, what we can do next time, if you want, I can host it on my StreamYard that I pay for, so that if you get people on who have channels, they can simulcast it out to their channels, and I get more eyes on your product, and maybe get you some more subscribers.
Hey, that'd be great. Hell, tell you what, we got an open weekend 31st. If you want to pick a movie, we'll review it.
The 31st
The 31st
is of December or January.
It's December. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do anything on that day because it's New Year's. But
I tend to stream my own shit on New Year's and Christmas. Just to,
don't worry about it.
whatever.
Don't worry about it.
We'll see. I don't plan that fucking far ahead if I can.
Right. No, I get you. I'm hoping Show has something picked for next week. I hope that he has something picked for next week. If he doesn't, I'll have a slot open. I'll probably, between me and Omen and whoever else can show up, we'll figure something out.
Well, let me know. Give me more fucking heads up on what the movie is, so I'm not watching it just before I come on here, man. That was rough.
Hey,
I'm sorry that I tortured you with the best Christmas movie of 2022.
Well, that's a low bar.
Yeah. I tried watching it earlier, but I had a splitting headache, and I just
So Connell, I won't be able to make.
Okay, all right, guys. Peace.
Hey, it's already on, man.
And just remember, guys, it's not a bad movie if you liked it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Connell, I won't be able to make next week because my friend's birthday is going on, and he invited me out to.
Oh, that's cool. No, I get it.
Yeah, so I just want to mention that is he just invited me while we were talking on stream, and he says, "Hey man, what are you doing the 24th?" I'm like, what should we do?" He says, "My birthday will be in San Antonio. Come on down." I'm like, "Okay, we can do that." So,
You know your room is pink, right?
are you sure?
Not
Are you
red, I
sure?
can tell
Are you
you
sure
that
it's just
much.
not? Are you sure it's just not your bad vision?
It's blue now, bro.
I
got those LED light bulbs that have the color switch.
Yes, I bought them because my son loved them as a kid. He was big into light bulbs, and I said, "Okay." And so I've been just having fun with them while we do this stuff. But yeah, I mean, if we do it, bloop, there we go.
My brother has them, and he sometimes sets his to RGB and rotate.
Oh, okay.
So
It
the
just depends on how I feel, Sometimes I feel kind of reddish, other days I feel a little, green. But
yeah, you got some envy going on right there.
well, yeah. No, I was just saying. Well, you know what? Justin just thinks he's going bad. It's like, what's wrong with his, camera? No, it's.
Have you actually seen the movie as a whole, Justin, or just what you?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it 3-4 months ago.
Okay.
But I like to refresh myself when.
No, I get that. I mean, what do you remember of it? What did you think of it?
Well, it was good.
It was enjoyable and it's forgettable. Those aren't bad for films,
Yeah.
Especially forgettable because you can watch again. Like, I don't remember.
You got the annoying backstabbing rich family that are all.
I wish they'd
with
had
each
more of a
other.
grandmother. I really do.
I'm just happy to find that she has found work after National Lampoon. I'm sure she's been in other shit, but I haven't seen it.
Well, what is she now? 80 or something? Let's see.
I was almost expecting, Chevy Chase to make an appearance somewhere in the movie.
Well, that would have been funny.
Let's see. How old is Beverly D'Angelo? She is 72.
Of course, it was too long ago.
So no, it's just going with my favorite character is Santa. Good old jolly. Him and Bear's right. The only person in the movie that was actually nice. I don't want to say tree, but didn't drive me up the damn wall was the little girl.
She was the only one I wouldn't hope would have gotten killed.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds horrible, but it was like, oh my God, if they had killed the other ones in hilariously, horrible fashion, I would have been okay with that.
I didn't get a chance to, but I wanted to ask Barrett if he knew anybody that that reminded him of that actor. The one without knowing that fucking actor guy was.
Uh,
I don't know.
Beverly D'Angelo's been pretty busy when you look at it. She's done well. I guess 2016 was an off year, but yeah, she's
been good for her. I haven't, like I said, the only thing I've seen her in. I haven't seen her in anything for a long ass time.
yeah, it's all like
well, a lot of it's
what's it called?
cameos and stuff like that. To be fair,
Yeah.
the older, but everyone ages out at a certain point. So
I think I saw a TikTok where she was hanging out with Chevy Chase, and there's a weird little Christmas TikTok. They did. But other than that, I don't just like it. Yeah, you're right. It's like there for a while. It's like, when was the last time you seen anything in before Sean Connery passed away? When was the last time you seen him in anything? I think, he retired after something Forest or Wood, whatever.
Wasn't it? Did he retire after the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
He might have. It was either that one or Finding Forrester or something like that.
But he was like 79 years old. I'm like, you're making him as a main character? I mean, come on.
Yeah. She was in True Lies for 4 episodes.
Okay. But I mean, it's, at a certain point, it's like, okay, you're not going to, you only going to get certain ones. And this is the kind of film, I think if you're an elderly actress or actor, this is exactly what you want. You can do completely over the top and be as evil as you want, and just you can have fun with the character. And I think and it looked like she was having fun with the character.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you get to play this? I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to see next year besides Dune Part 2.
Next year, I don't know. I mean, of course, I want to see Deadpool. I
do, but after hearing all of the stuff that's going on in Disney, I'm like, this is going to be bad.
Well, here's what I'm hearing: there is Disney Marvel movies, then there's Deadpool.
No. They're trying to shoehorn in all sorts of stuff, and they wanted to put in cameos, and they want it to tie out to the next version of the MCU universe, and and this all came out in like the last couple of weeks. It apparently is not. They're not letting Ryan Reynolds be dead.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, yeah. That's when you gotta advance the narrative above profits.
Well, you know what though is we'll see what Nelson Peltz says.
Yeah,
they're in panic mode. I mean, if you're threatening to sue Paramount over the Pandaverse, you have lost. You've lost the whole thing. I mean, the best thing you could do is just shut up. But no, look, they're Disney. We'll see. Disney might be bought out by Apple at this rate.
And
Hasbro,
that does not make it better. It'll get worse if that happens.
It won't make it any. Well, can't get much worse than it is now. I mean, if you look at their stuff, if nothing else, part of me just goes,
Amazon. Yeah, it was Amazon, not Apple. So never mind.
Oh, okay. Now, I mean, for some of the things out there, and we'll see what's going on, but I think they're starting to wake up that, but Bob, what is it? Bob Iger. It's like, what are you doing? You're doubling down on stuff. Why don't you just shut the hell up? Stop complaining about other. If you have to complain about other companies because your product is failing, that's a failure on your part.
Yeah,
I saw the most recent Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
Owen Wilson, Rosen Donald, and really the only and Danny DeVito. It wasn't bad. It realistically, for a pure Disney movie, it wasn't horrible.
But here's the thing. Part of it comes down to I'll use Frozen as an example. Is
what-
no. I mean, but the kids love it. They want it. You have to go buy it. Then they want all the toys. They want, that's the money is, the joke, from Spaceballs, merchandising, Spaceballs, the flamethrower, it's, the merchandising is where you make a lot of it on the back end. And if your movie sucks, you're not going to do it. Just like George Lucas, he probably made more off of all the other stuff behind the scenes than he ever did off Star Wars proper.
Was it Matt Ryan? Not Matt Ryan. Matt. Was it Matt Ryan? No, that's not my Matt. God damn it! He does.
Well, what's the point? Anyways,
he was talking about how movies used to be. Is like, okay, they give you X amount of money to make the movie, then you get a percentage of the back half of it. Where with the VHS to DVDs, the toys and all that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they are still making DVDs. They're making Blu-rays, but let's face it, majority of the people don't buy them anymore. They go to streaming. So the money, how they're doing money, how the actors are getting paid, just making money is completely different. And they don't have
the residuals.
Well, from what I understand is they were trying to get. Now, this is what I heard. They were trying to get residuals for every time it was played. Oh, imagine that you buy a VHS copy, and every time you plug it into your VCR, you got to send 30 cents off to the actors that were in it. Not fucking happening. And they're trying to do that with this. You get your residuals for it being licensed to the network for 5 years or whatever.
It was pretty, but I'm not going over for the residuals anyway. I'm just saying that there, when you start looking at, and don't get me wrong, they need to revamp the stuff. It was, but they changed. But what gets me about the whole thing on this is, just make good movies. And instead they're like, oh, we're not worried about. No one really cares. No, everyone loved The Lion King. Why do you have to make a live action version of it? Why do you have to?
Because they can. It's how many versions of, I don't know, pick a movie. I mean, pick a movie.
So I'm going to say this about Walt Disney. You know what Walt Disney used to do? Is every 7 years he'd bring out the film.
Of the vault. It would go into the vault. It gets locked away. It's first it was a gold version. Now it's a diamond version. I don't disagree with that.
No. Yeah, but what he did was he made sure that every 7 years the kids would outgrow whatever the film was. So in the film, after 7 years, the new kids would come in. Oh, I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. And so then they would do all the marketing for it, and then would go back. And so it kind of was an event, just like Snow White, all this other stuff. You could keep bringing this stuff out, and I'm like, okay, how much money are you losing by re-releasing the original Snow White? Nothing. I mean, that's the point. Now, if I'm going to spend $100-200 million on it, that's
Snow White's an interesting one to bring up because Snow White is now the story is now public in the public domain.
Yeah, it was when Walt made his.
Walt Disney did it. I mean, Tolkien basically, after he went to go see Snow White, basically said to his friend, "Don't ever let Walt Disney get a hold of my stuff," which was probably a good call. It was a very good call. As much as I'm not a big fan of it, it was probably a great call. But Lion King, if they did a live action, if Disney says, "Okay, this is Snow White," we did this back in the 50s. Mm-hmm. And we're coming out with a live action version of Snow White because anybody can make a Snow White movie, but we want to keep your asses in our seat. Would you blame them?
Well, you also got to take into account that they changed the stories with the live action ones, right? Like they radically changed the stories.
You couldn't tell the original Snow White story in any media.
Yeah, you can.
Snow White was raped. How's that going to go over with little children?
Yeah, she was.
Was she?
In the Brothers Grimm version, yes.
Oh, I had the Brothers Grimm, but I'm not sure. The problem I have with this, I want the unedited original stuff, and it's hard to say if I could.
Grimm's, and Grimm's stories never ended well for anybody.
Well, but there were supposed to be warnings too.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other parts people forget about. Those were fairy tales were supposed to warn children. You know, look at what with the original thing with Little Red Riding Hood. She literally gets eaten, and her grandmother is fed to her. Where her blood and her flesh is fed to Little Red Riding Hood before she's eaten.
I don't remember that, but I don't know.
It's been a while since I read the original one, actually, but yeah, I believe it.
That's brutal.
So we want to make movies. You know, we want to make movies
But
that will put kids' asses in seats. So we're going to have to change stuff. There's just no way around it.
yeah, but then like when they say we're not going to make Mulan a musical because it offends the Chinese people or some shit like that, it's like,
Mulan is offensive all by itself.
But again, if you have something that's loved,
Yeah.
why would you go back and redo it? That's the problem that I have. You know, it's like you're not making a better version. You're just making a version that doesn't appeal. Like the worst thing you could do, and I'll give you the perfect example, is remaking the original Star Wars. Because if you make the original Star Wars, not only you're not getting new fans, you're also not going to keep your old fans.
I thought they did make a remake of Star Wars. What was it called? Oh wait, Harry Potter.
No, it was Aragon.
Oh, that's what it was.
But
no, I don't exactly disagree with you. Nor here, I'm making a live action. Lion King's going back to Lion King's. God, that movie, the cartoon's got to be what, 20 years old, 20 plus.
It's 30 years old.
No, is it really
94?
Oh yes, it is. Fuck, I feel old. But the live action movie, and I hate to say this, wasn't meant for us.
It doesn't matter. You say it wasn't meant for us, but yet, if you look at it, it's the loves I have, I share with my child.
I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but using another movie for example, the Barbie movie. You know how many guys I've heard bitch about a movie that was
okay. Yeah, but that's different.
But that's
different. That's aimed at women. My point
where Lion King's is aimed at everybody. I get it, but it was aimed for us as children when we were children. Now, as children, us or having our own children, hey, we could bring it to you through a different media. Let's give it a go.
Why? But see, here's the thing, though, and I'm going to say this much: the Batman animated series, the 1990s.
Oh, best ever.
Okay. You know, it's like, okay, unless you're going to improve on it. A perfect example, and I'm going to bring that up a little bit different, especially since we've all seen this probably, when they remade Psycho.
Oh, yeah. With Vincent, whatever his name is. Yeah.
The same movie?
They remade it, and he showed what he wanted to do almost from shot to shot. And I'm like, you don't remake classics. You don't remake Citizen Kane, because at a certain point, you can't make it better. You're just better off leaving that one alone. And, you know, that's what I'm referring to. It instead, that's like, hey, let's go dig this up. I'm going to mention, give me the original Ben-Hur any day over the new version.
I like the new version, but for, I don't know. Anyways. No, I get it. I don't want them ever to make a remake of Casablanca. I think it's a great movie. It should be left the fuck alone. But not every movie...
There's only one legitimate remake of that story, and that was Barbed Wire, starring Pamela Anderson.
and all the gin joints in all the world.
Well, so my review, and I'm gonna bring this up a little bit different. It's not that you can't take the same stuff from Casablanca, but I wouldn't call it Casablanca. That's my point. Is I would make it its own thing. Like, come on, you know, when we talk about RPGs. Casablanca works so well if you're going to do this in space, and you have the space station that's in the middle of nowhere as people try to get off to go to escape. I mean, you can do
the fuck out of it. Yeah, I can see that.
You could do these things, and it would be like, oh, but everyone can say, well, it's kind of a remake of Casablanca, but it's in space. And you're like, oh, okay. But I'm not going to try comparing it to Casablanca. Is my whole point. What you don't want to do is where people comparing this movie to the old one directly, and now you're like, oh no, the original people would hate it as well.
Joking, not joking. Didn't they do a remake of Casablanca, and it was called Solo?
I don't know. I've never seen Solo.
The Han Solo movie.
I've never
There
seen.
have been a lot of remakes of Casablanca, like just the story, right?
Yeah. You can use the
They're
story.
not called
Don't call it
Casablanca.
Casablanca. You don't. What you do is you say, oh, okay. Very similar to when we have the Seven Samurai, or you have the Magnificent Seven. It's basically the same thing, but it's different enough that you go, oh, okay. And kind of just be glad I didn't have you watch the Seven Samurai.
Hey, I loved Rain. I wasn't the one bitching.
I know, no. I think you would like it, but it's much longer and it requires you to read all the subtitle stuff.
I know
But
movies don't bother me pretense as much
Fuck
as
subtitles. I'm just saying that. Fuck subtitles. I'll read a book or watch a movie. I'm not reading a movie.
Hey, Justin, I watch everything with subtitles at this point in my life, so it doesn't matter.
You're old and weird.
I actually, you know what? My son did that too, and you know how much his reading improved when he was between like 6 and 7 by having subtitles turned on. Yeah, exactly.
I had a hell of a time as a kid reading, and I had comic books thrown in my lap. Next thing I know, reading was fun. So
yeah, it's now that said is to be fair, even when I was a kid, if something was on the television, I was usually reading a book at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So but I hated listening to it, and I have to listen to things over and over again. I'm like, oh, I don't have to. I can actually get all the dialogue without like oh, what was it? The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm like, what the hell did he say? And I kept going over and over and felt like, okay, let me turn the subtitles. Oh, that's what he said. Okay, I can move on.
I don't know. I once again, I think I'm a little bit more, as I said before, forgiving. The remake of The Lion King didn't bother me all that much. The remaking of Aladdin, I had issues with, only because there will only be one Robin Williams, and it doesn't matter who you cast to play the genie. It will always be Robin Williams. Not saying that Will Smith did not do a good job at it. It wasn't Robin Williams.
But I'm going to say that some of that's nostalgia, to be fair. Some of that is, and I have to be careful on those things. When people bring it, Shadow loves to bring in his nostalgia feelings into what he was doing. In the meantime, I'm like, I have no emotional attachment to it, so I can look at it objectively. And then sometimes I go back for movies I loved. I go, objectively, it's not the greatest film, but I loved it as a kid. That's
the fucking Ernest movies are the best example. I love the Ernest movies growing up. I tried to watch one not that long ago. I'm like, the fuck am I doing with my life?
Well, I watched all of them up until the Halloween special.
As long as you agree that they're for nostalgia, that's one thing. Like A Christmas Story, I watched on the plane coming back from Germany when I was a little kid, and I found it hilarious. The problem is it's been so overdone. I can't watch that film again.
What?
A Christmas Story. You'll shoot your.
Okay, yeah, I missed what you said.
There was a movie.
I never liked it.
I go down to Florida as a vacation with my aunt, and there was this movie that the local Blockbuster had that I don't know why the Blockbuster I had didn't have it, but they didn't. And it was called Only the Strong. It was a martial art movie about capoeira. I loved it. Dumb fucking movie, but I loved it. Had Mark Dominio, or whatever his hell his name is, and so every time I'd go to Florida, hey, can we go to Blockbuster? Why? I want to rent a movie. Okay, a movie. Hey, it shows you, we get up there and she's like, yeah, it shows that you rent this movie every year, or once every year. And it was because of me. And I, as an adult, it was showing on HBO. I'm like, yeah, I go sit down and watch this. I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
But some of it is after you've watched hundreds of films, you start saying, oh, okay, I've seen this before. I know where this is going. But some of it is, I still love watching Three Stooges. Yes, it's stupid, but I still find it hilarious because it is stupid. Whereas, but it's like, oh, okay. But sometimes it's like, okay, let me see how they did certain things. But I don't like remakes for the most part. Now, that said, if it's 20 or 30 years later and it hasn't been in DVD or it hasn't been on television a lot, then go ahead and remake it. But
yeah,
it's like trying to remake Alien. You can't remake Alien because part of this fear of Alien was the unknown, and you can't capture that feeling by showing more
you could get any of the fucking writers and the rights for any one of the Alien comic books over the years and turn that into a movie, panel by panel. You know, they've done that with a few movies though. Sin City, they almost did panel by panel.
One that I really liked, and I didn't. I
Sin
wish
City
we were
one was
here
good.
for this. Was Mad Max Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about it, and this is the other problem I think that some of the directors have, is he storyboarded the entire thing before he did anything else. And
They fired a guy for saying the guy that did the storyboard was just an inker. One of the early directors, because that thing was in development since like 2005 or 1995. Sorry.
yeah, but I mean, but the whole thing was storyboarded, and then they made sure that they did the pacing correctly. Again, you don't have to like the movie, but man, the pacing was really good. You have the crescendo, and then it comes down. Crescendo, and then it comes. It's like, okay, I don't feel like my adrenaline's trying to kick for 140 minutes up to the point that I'm just completely burned out by the end. That's not the way I want to move you. You know, you need to do those. That was one thing with Christopher Nolan and the Batman films. Look at the pacing. He does a good job with the pacing.
Well, what was it? The in-game Marvel's in-game in Infinity War. I saw the behind the scenes, and they had a board as you're talking about, scene board, and how much work they had. The original comic graphic novel on the table, which looked like it's had more note stickers than it had anything fucking else. I'm right there with you. If a director and Bear was absolutely right what he said earlier. If somebody, the studios will always fuck with the movie, no matter what the movie is. The studios will always.
They don't do it. Clint Eastwood.
I've heard that. I've heard that. But if you have a good director and good writer, you can almost always come up with a good movie.
So
that's the thing about Clint Eastwood. His scripts start off white and they end white. They change pages to colors.
I didn't know how to take that there for a while, just for a second. Just
no. When you write a script, it's white, and then when you make an adjustment, it gets a color change, and the color denotes what shift in the number of changes the script has gone through. And Clint Eastwood, he makes what is written on the page. If you don't like it, it ain't getting made.
Well, this is some of the smaller films I think are more fun. Just like how much did Godzilla cost to make?
Oh, the recent one?
The -1, the one in theaters right now.
I less than it took to make an episode of Game of Thrones, I heard.
It was $15 million. And it was only supposed to be in the United States for a week because they didn't think that it would do well at the theater. But it's not doing fantastic compared to the other stuff, but percentage wise, it's doing way above all these big giant blockbusters. And everyone I hear that reviews it is saying, wow, it's an emotional film that's really good. I'm like, you're gonna make me have to go watch the film.
I'm thinking about seeing it later on tonight if I'm actually going to. I don't know. I've been wanting to see it. Just somehow I end up doing everything else. It is 2:00. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Next week, I'm not 100% sure what the hell we're watching. It will be, hopefully Shadow will be able to join us, and he'll let us know throughout this week what the hell we're watching. If it's not, then we're going to do the South Park Christmas special. I don't care. Now,
I put a trailer for a movie.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin, we talked about that before you came on.
I want this worked in next year.
No.
It is definitely sci-fi.
No. Maybe we can do fantasy in 2025. Because that's the point of your stuff was to get a RPG material. So now we're getting sci-fi next year, and then we can do fantasy the year after.
Quick question: could you make this movie? Just yes or no? Could you make this movie into an RPG game
for Violent Night?
Definitely a solo RPG. I don't know. Maybe a one room kind of. You're all the family members.
No. No, you are the bad guys, and you have to try making sure you don't die off during the game.
Oh, an evil campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know, judging by that family, if you'd really be evil though.
Well, are you as evil? You know, that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, I think that would be kind of fun. It's just like, hey guys, it's a one shot. Here you go.
Yeah, definitely a 2 or 3 hour game.
Yeah, it's like, well, what are we doing? What's going on with Santa? We got to figure out how to stop him.
All right. Well, my answer is yes. I think you could. I think I played this game. Chris had not Chris. Mark hosted a game for a few of us about a year ago, and I think this one with the right system could be a lot of fun as long as you also have the right people. Not the far right, but the right people.
Hey, what's wrong with the far right, bro? I take offense to that.
I know. Anyways, everybody out there, if we don't have a show next week, it's because we're doing holiday shit. Yay, the holidays.
Hey,
Almost like
my friend's birthday.
God, I love the internet.
What?
My friend's birthday.
Yeah. So if I do a show next Sunday, it will just be me and whoever decides to show up. Not necessarily a movie, but we might do something. Anyways, everybody out there, have a Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, well, happy holidays to whoever you do celebrate. It being
Celebrate mass commercialism as you watch your wallets become thinner.
Didn't the Hanukkah already just happen?
I have to find out. My friend's Jewish. He was.
Yeah, I got a couple friends who are Jewish, and I'm like, I should know these things, but I don't.
It's not the big holiday for Jews. It just isn't. So
unless they're bakers. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to everybody later.
I support Kwanzaa.
You would.
You ever look at the tenets of Kwanzaa?